A ground-shaking decision as U.S. President Joe Biden recovers from COVID. He has passed the torch to Vice President Kamala Harris. There has never been a moment like this in modern political history. More heavyweights are throwing their support behind Harris, but Biden's endorsement doesn't automatically make her the Democratic nominee. CTV's Washington Bureau Chief Joy Malbon now on the woman who very clearly wants the top job. Joy.
Sandy, what a difference a day makes. Still reeling from that political earthquake, Joe Biden exiting the race. Now his vice president seems to have the inside track to the Democratic nomination. But Kamala Harris says she intends to earn it. Surrounded by student athletes, college champions, Kamala Harris is running her own race, quickly becoming the one to beat for the Democratic nomination, praising President Joe Biden.
Joe Biden's legacy of accomplishment over the past 3 years is unmatched in modern history. In one term, he has already, yes, you may clap.
Recovering from COVID, Biden dropped his troubled re-election bid under pressure from his party, concerns over his age and ability to defeat Donald Trump. Biden endorsed Harris as his successor. A flood of support coming from top Democratic leaders like former Speaker Nancy Pelosi.
She is well equipped to prosecute, I'm going to emphasize, to prosecute the case against Donald Trump.
I haven't seen this kind of excitement in the Democratic Party in quite a long time.
We win! Even potential running mates or possible rivals like Governors Gavin Newsom, Josh Shapiro, Gretchen Whitmer, and Kentucky's Andy Beshear all lining up to back her.
The vice president is smart and strong, which will make her a good president.
Harris inherits Joe Biden's war chest, raising tens of millions, a surge in donations in just a single day. She even has a new logo, Harris for President. The race for the White House no longer a rematch between two old men. Donald Trump at 78 complaining on Truth Social. Now we have to start all over again. Scrambling to change course, the Trump campaign out with a wave of new attack ads blaming Harris for covering up Biden's decline.
Kamala knew Joe couldn't do the job, so she did it. Look what she got done, a border invasion.
This is a whole new presidential campaign. After weeks of political infighting, Harris is in a strong position to make history and secure the nomination with just over 100 days to go before the election. Sandy?
All right, Joy, thanks. And let's pick up on what Joy is saying. What are we watching for now over the next few days and weeks? We've got Nancy Pelosi endorsing Harris for president. Will she cement her position as nominee? Let's bring in CTV political analyst Eric Hammond. Eric, with so little time until the Chicago convention that's happening in late August, what happens next in terms of locking up the nomination, making it official?
Well, what we're now going to see is how quickly can Kamala Harris actually begin to secure many of those uncommitted delegates that were initially with President Biden, but became uncommitted after he dropped out of the race. Already, she's at nearly 400. She's still got about 1,500 more to go, but she's moving quicker and quicker to actually sewing up many of those delegates.
So you wouldn't be surprised then. She has got it as far as you're concerned. She's locked it in.
Oh, absolutely. I think many of the potential high-profile names that many donors perhaps would have wanted have already fallen in line to support her candidacy. And now I think it's the question of who will actually be her running mate as she looks to November.
Okay, and when will that happen? Because two things have to happen. Will there be a virtual vote so we'll know that she's the nominee ahead of the convention? Will that happen at the convention? When will we hear about the VP? I know I'm throwing a lot of questions at you. Go for it.
I do believe that there will be a virtual vote that will take place to ensure that she's actually on the ballot in Ohio. That was still a concern that the Biden-Harris team had. And so I think they will go through with that. As far as who her running mate will be, I think in traditional elections where they're typically introduced about a week or so before the convention, I think we could still see something like that happen where we could see her running mate perhaps leading up to the convention to build momentum during that actual convention where she is officially named the nominee.
Okay. Democrats seem re-energized. Everyone seems to be saying that. So the question then is, can they turn this around and give the Republicans a run for their money?
History says that they cannot. But what we are seeing right now, while there is momentum, money is starting to come in, she still is not officially the nominee. And I think she still needs to actually receive that mantle before we can see how far ahead Republicans are of the Democrats and how much farther she has to go to catch up right now.
Okay, so you have to wonder if the Republicans are even slightly worried about the turn of events here. Are they?
They should be, because, again, all of the weaknesses that President Biden had as a candidate now fall onto Donald Trump. And so he has got to find a way to actually beat Kamala Harris back. And that's going to be a very difficult challenge for this ticket.
Okay, so you have to wonder what's going on behind the scenes in terms of their strategizing. Any thoughts on how this might shift their own approach to this in the coming days?
We don't really see how that can happen, but of course, they're going to find a way to make it happen.
Okay. Eric, as always, thank you. Appreciate it.